All right, welcome to Now This Is Podcasting. I'm your host, Connor, and I have my co-host, Jaden here.
Yee.
And former guest, Calvin.
Thanks for having me back.
And we're gonna do a review on The Suicide Squad. This is gonna be a little different than what we usually do, because this is actually not gonna take us hours. We're gonna do a quick review on a movie.
We're gonna aim for a quick review.
I don't have a ton to say about this. I have quick little points I want to get out, but I think just like general thoughts. We want to go over that first.
Yeah, it's fine.
Calvin, what did you think of this movie? We actually watched this together while Jaden was asleep.
Yeah, very. Jane, I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
When was that? Last your birthday party?
That was my birthday party.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I do not remember going to bed.
Yeah.
I woke up from the air mattress like, how do I even get down
Dude,
here?
I take care of you, man.
Yeah, dude. There was like one moment we were having like a conversation. You went back inside for like 15 minutes, and you came out, and you were just like, "Calvin, I love you," and I was like, "What? What happened?"
What?
It's been 15 minutes. Yeah, dude. You hit that wall so.
Oh, I think I
quickly.
went inside and did shots with Rory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, this is too much now. Yeah.
That was an amazing birthday party. Thank you
super
guys for
fun,
being a
yeah.
part of that. It was really fun. But yeah, so Calvin, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't see the first one, but I think it exists in it's separate from other types of superhero movies because the point is not it's not kitschy heroism in the way that Marvel movies are. It's like pushing the boundaries of what good taste is for the sake of humor, which I think humor for me exists on a completely different spectrum. I can suspend disbelief all day for humor because that's one of the few forms of pure entertainment that I really, really enjoy. I think there's more community created out of watching things that are humorous together. So I have plenty of respect for films that can make me laugh, and this made me laugh a lot.
Yeah, we were having a good old time watching it. I think the first maybe 30 minutes, 25 minutes of this, we were like rolling. Like I was really into this movie.
Crying.
Yeah, it was.
It's been a long time since I've cried at a movie.
Yeah, it was
For
really
For
laughter. Yeah.
Which makes sense to me because it's a James Gunn film. You know, he's masterful at like putting good comedic moments in, which is weird because he's done other movies like Slither, which is like this creepy horror movie.
Yeah, he's a weird guy.
But then have you guys seen Super?
Yeah.
Rainn Wilson is in it. Dwight Schrute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
like Ellen Page gets like
shot in the
half.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He did Brightburn too, which is like the
he
weird
did
horror
Brightburn?
movie.
He's a producer on
Okay,
it. Yeah.
I know he was a part of
He
it
is,
at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he's good at like you can have some serious subject matter, but then he'll like inject humor into it, and then obviously he does Guardians of the Galaxy, which is like just a funny movie.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of heart, but it's still like
It's a comedy, yeah.
I think
I
it's
do
primarily
think that
funny.
Guardians of the Galaxy is probably the best Marvel movie.
It's up there.
I tend to think it's one of the more entertaining ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I think it's one of the more like original ones. Like it's got its own spin kind of thing.
like that's when
Yeah.
I can throw that on kind of any time, and I'm like I'm gonna have a good time
Yeah.
with this movie.
The
But,
second
like,
one's not as good. But
Yeah.
The first one is fantastic.
Like I think like maybe like Infinity War and Endgame, they're to me they're better because I just like that culmination.
Yeah.
But if I just need to sit down and like throw something on, I can always throw on like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So he's a good director, and
So-
he's really good at putting these like comedic moments and stuff. So
I mean, a big detriment to this movie are those two movies. Because, I mean, the first Suicide Squad was, like, they made the movie because of how successful Guardians of the Galaxy is. And they're like, we need to base it off that. We need to have, like, this good music, have these wacky, like, anti-hero villain characters.
have you seen there's like I don't know if it's a video I saw or just it's kind of like the evolution of the Suicide Squad trailer, like the first Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Where it's like dark, gritty, and it's just like Suicide Squad has like bullet holes in it. It's
Yeah.
like on a black background. And then because then Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and they're like, oh, we need to make this like poppy and fun.
Yep.
Because that's what people like now, which is not what the film was
Nope.
supposed to be. And so then the next trailer has all this like it has like AC/DC playing in it, and then it has like they didn't change the font, but they make the font like more colorful.
Yep.
And then the last trailer for it is like it's just an explosion of color when they bring out like the title and everything.
And they
It's
get, like, 21 Pilots to make a
Yeah,
song for it
yeah.
and all this shit.
It's
yeah.
insane.
That is an amazing song. That's the only thing that did come out of
Well,
that. That
I
was
fucking
good.
hate that song, and I usually like 21 Pilots.
I love that song.
All my
great.
friends are eating steak and snow.
I know. But it is interesting that
Yeah.
one of James Gunn's films influenced the first Suicide
And
Squad
then now
so much,
he's doing
and
this
now
one.
he's
It's
doing the second
even
one.
more of a blatant rip off of just trying to be successful off of Marvel's franchise.
I like to
And I
pretend
do
that,
think
yeah.
that to not execute it well. I feel like it's a lot like the first Suicide Squad movie, just with like a little like, let's throw some more humor in there and make this more wacky. And let's get some big stars in here. And, James Gunn is making it, so it's going to be as good as Guardians of the Galaxy, and we're just going to market the fuck out of this thing.
I think that this movie does rely on you knowing that this is the guy who also did Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, its name is massive.
Yeah, I think this probably got
like
a lot of people
like
to
in the trailer, it's the guy who brought you Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Come see his version of these superheroes.
Yeah, I think what's interesting to think about is the thing that makes this film suffer is that it tries to have a plot. If it didn't have a...
You're kind of right.
I mean, I think it suffers from a lot more than just that. But yeah, that is a problem.
I mean, if it eschewed plot entirely, then you have everything that it's supposed to be, and it's great.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I think, I mean, you weren't awake.
Huh? I watched this movie after you.
I'm sure he watched it on his own.
Oh my goodness. No, the movie is terrible, like through and through, man. Like it's just not good.
Yeah. No,
I think there's just a
agree.
lot of like, let's make some dick jokes. Let's say fuck all the time, and like let's throw out all these curse words. Like we're going hard in this movie. Like we are very much like so like we're trying to make this big and epic and make it funny for adults, and like you guys like Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, this is that, but more crude.
I actually turned to Calvin. I was like, "Man, I kind of want to see a rated R Guardians of the Galaxy." I thought that'd actually be fun. Like,
but I think all of those
fan.
things. Yeah, I think all of those things that you're saying though aren't the things that I found funny. I thought
I did not find them funny either. I found a lot of things funny about this movie. And like Weasel, I think is the best character, and he has zero dialogue.
Yeah, and I think that's also probably why he is such a wonderful character.
Yeah,
because he's such a caricature of like characters that don't matter in hero movies anyways. Like
I wanted him to be if he would have been like the savior of the day at the end, I would have been so happy, dude.
Yeah, like King Rat.
Right.
But then John Cena, I think this is the most John Cena role that John Cena could ever do. And I think that he executed it perfectly as far as that goes. I was like, okay, like I buy this for John Cena more than anything I've seen him in it ever before.
I think he acted to his potential.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's the same way I feel about used to feel about like Dave Bautista. It's like, I was like, this is what he can do. He can be Drax, and this is perfect for him.
Yeah,
he's done some good stuff, but
I agree with you because I actually look at Dave Bautista now, and he has a bigger range.
He's
than
way
I think
more versed than I thought he was.
Yeah, he has like a small role in Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah,
but it's like a real character.
I don't think he should be like if he's going to be like a big part of the movie. Like he's got to be funny. Like, that's I think his thing. And Drax is good humor. Yeah. It's stupid, but it's funny. It's like kind of like what they tried to make like King Shark kind of, but even like more so.
Oh, you could take him out of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that it's Sylvester Stallone, I guess, but like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I could. You could leave him out. And
and then like literally like the scene at the end where Idris Elba is telling them all like,
well, we don't want to spoil.
Oh, okay.
We don't want to spoil it. Well, let me get my thoughts.
That's
and then we
fine.
Can stuff. I like I said, when Calvin and I were watching this, we were having a good old time for like the first 25 minutes. And then this is not a detriment to the Harley Quinn character or Margot Robbie's portrayal of her, but it's like fun, and I'm laughing a lot, and I'm enjoying like Idris Elba and John Cena. They're having like this sort of like competition on like how well they can kill people, and it's like really, I was like genuinely, this is really funny to me. I was having a good time, and then it's like this, the air gets sucked out of this movie as soon as Margot Robbie's or as soon as Harley Quinn shows up on screen, and then it's just like this long, weird plot of her almost getting married or something.
Yeah, it was awful.
And it's like the tone of the movie totally changes, and then it like never reaches like that kind of that height of comedy again.
Nope.
At the like all the best stuff is in the first 25 minutes of this movie, and then I am not a big fan of the ending. At least like the way they win in the end, I didn't like it. I think the bad guy at the end, your monster at the end, is really cool. I don't have a problem with that. But I just think this movie starts out on such a high note, and then it plummets, and then it like never gets back up again. I kept waiting, and I was like, "Come on, like be funny again, please!" Like like shaking it, like please be funny for me again. Like you gave me so much at the beginning, and then
please,
I never
I have some more.
Yeah, I just never got back to it. So that's like my issue with it is. It peaked right at the beginning, and then I was disinterested the rest of it.
I mean, I definitely agree with you. It was definitely the best scenes from the beginning, and then Michael Rooker died like a pansy, and I was very upset with that. I was like, "That's my boy, dude."
It's kind of funny, actually, how he just is like terrified.
And then the bird eats his head.
I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's all right. I just like wanted to see him more in the movie because I'm a fan of him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I felt like
weird
the
how
bouncing
they-
ball thing was also his arrow thing in Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's that too. Just
kinda
ripping
funny.
blatantly off of the movie.
right.
Yeah, but it's just weird how they broke. It's another one of those films that feels like it got reshot and then made into 3 different films. You have that beginning where they're really pushing the boundaries of what is funny as far as gore, and then you have like girl power fan service.
I do think that they are really trying to capitalize on the popularity of Margot Robbie and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she had her own movie, which didn't even do well. So
No.
I think it's odd that they'd like try to kind of, she has her own separate story within this film that's supposed to be an ensemble, which I think is odd. And it's just, they're just trying to be like, oh, if we put her in the trailers enough, like people love this character and they're going to go see it. And it's, to me, it's to the detriment of the movie. I think if this is an ensemble film the whole way through, it is much more cohesive and it's much more fun.
That she's hardly even with the team.
Yeah, when all this
She
stuff,
needed to be
yeah.
with the original team, not with that second team that got massacred.
That was
Yeah.
the first team. So
Yeah,
the
but I
second
mean,
team
like
was
the
what
first,
survived.
the second team was really the first team, in, as far as they're concerned. The
Yeah.
second team was all just a
Pretty
distraction.
sure they called them Team 2.
Either way, it like, I think it deflates this movie when every time it goes to like her story and it takes away from the crew. I think the film just like screeches to a halt to me.
Yeah.
And it's not fun to watch anymore. And it's not because I don't like the performance, not because I don't like the character. I just think it doesn't fit in this film at all. Like, just do another Harley Quinn movie then. Like, do that.
But it won't make money.
And be unsuccessful.
I think this one's also unsuccessful. I don't think it's a good movie.
I think it opened up like 26 million. It was not a very robust opening
No, I mean
weekend.
it's on HBO Max.
But then,
that's
yeah,
where everyone's
that's
gonna
what I'm
watch
saying.
it.
This is such
this
a
isn't
weird-
even like a theatrical worthy movie.
It's such a weird time because it's like you can't even like really accurately estimate box
Yeah.
office because it's like, HBO Max doesn't release their subscription numbers. And how would you even equate those subscription numbers to people actually viewing this movie?
Yeah.
And,
And how many people are using one dude's HBO Max?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
Although
it's-
it is interesting seeing that I think Black Widow has made $370 million.
Yeah, it's not successful for
So, but-
Marvel, so
But that's
Huh?
that's not good enough for Marvel.
I mean, it actually
She's
made back
suing
its money.
Disney, and like they've cut all ties with her like future contracts and stuff. They got rid of them all.
I know, but it's like only one of like 2 or 3 movies to make back its money, like in the last year.
yeah.
I think that's different too, though, because you
That-
have to.
I mean, it does matter.
You have to pay
Yeah.
extra to see that movie, so they definitely have the numbers on that because you know how many people clicked and paid to see that movie.
Yeah.
For HBO Max, it's just a subscription, so like they're not going to release like the analytics of who bought HBO Max subscriptions just to watch this movie. It's harder to figure that out.
Yep.
That's why I think it's so hard to figure out. Like, yeah, maybe it made 26 million or whatever on opening weekend, but how much money did it make through streaming and stuff like that? It's hard to figure out. So
Yeah.
this movie might not be a dud. It certainly looks like it might be, but
I just like not as far as financially. I just think as like quality and
I think it's a dud. there,
Presence,
too,
yeah.
All right. Do we want to spoil stuff now?
yeah.
I want to talk about like the parts I liked. You don't like Idris Elba in this movie.
I
think
hate
he's
him in
great.
everything,
Really?
and especially this movie.
Why do you
is
hate it?
fascinating to
What
me.
do you dislike about him?
His face and everything about him.
He's a
Like
wonderful
when he got
face.
killed in Infinity War, I was like, thank God, finally they got rid of this dude in Marvel. He sucked the whole time.
What is he in?
When he got when in and out, when he was like out of the show The Office, I was like, thank God.
He's
Why
the,
they even bring him in here?
In Asgard, he's like the gatekeeper who
He's
runs the
Heimdall.
Bifrost.
Yeah, he's Heimdall.
Yeah.
Okay, he's Heimdall. What's wrong with Heimdall?
He sucks in those movies, Calvin.
He's just
They're just not good movies.
Okay, well, he's the worst part in them.
he's underutilized, and it's also not really the focus of that movie. So I'm fine with him just being a background character.
Still don't like him in it.
But I really liked all the parts with him and John Cena where they're like killing all the.
Yeah, because of John Cena, not because of Idris Elba.
I think my favorite line in the movie is when John Cena shoots that guy, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't kill him," and he's like, "Oh, like it's an explosive round or whatever." And then he's like, "Oh, you're showing off." He was like, "Showing off only matters if like it's
It's
cool
not
as-
if it's not badass or whatever.
yeah,
he's
it's
like-
cool as fucking." And then you just always like, "Fuck, he's right." Like I thought that
He
was
says
I was,
dope as fuck. Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
I just love like that reaction he has. He's like, he's right. Like I thought it was great. I think them two on screen together, and then you have who's Polka Dot Man?
Polka Dot Man.
That's David Dastmalchian.
I'm gonna say Das Chain.
I think you added extra
Dust
values in
Mulchin.
there, but
He's
Yeah.
he's got a lot of letters that I think are probably silent, but he's kind of in that scene too, and It sort of disrupts, I think, the good chemistry that John Cena.
He's funny.
Idris Elba have.
I don't even really remember him in that scene because it's so much about those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why when he
The scene is very good.
That's why when he pops
Yeah.
in, I was like, oh, no, stay out. Because they're having a fun like banter competition together. So that's like my favorite part of the movie. And then when they show up and they rescue like Rick Flag and they realize they've been killing like people who would be allies for them, I think is hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
they think they've done this great thing and they're going to rescue him. And he's like, oh yeah, we have a big team out here that's going to help us. And they're like,
Yeah,
no.
we murdered
killed
everybody.
We didn't see anybody.
right.
I'd say
Yeah.
there's definitely comedic parts about this movie.
So that to me is the highlight
Yeah.
of this
Yeah,
movie. I don't
absolutely.
have much more that I
I
like
mean,
about this.
the antagonist is just like why you even have him in the movie. I don't understand like anything about. I'm like the character sucks. The starfish thing sucks. I don't like any of that.
I love the way it looks. I think it's just so
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, it might look cool, but it's not. I just don't think it's good plot or story. Like to have that thing in there and have that be their big bad guy.
it's just very cool comic book thing. What did you guys think of the? They sort of have like little like tags or like titles for like kind of the act that they're in, where it'll be like I think Idris Elba's like washing a toilet and there's like soap suds that spell out like what's happening, or like there'll be some like seaweed that washes up on the shoreline. And it'll kind of spell out like what's going on next. Do you guys like that or not like that? Because we've seen that in Green Knight, and I think it fits the story there, and it sets the tone for the scene.
It's also in Endgame and Civil War and Winter Soldier.
Where they have it.
It's not. It's just like big white letters. Boom.
Oh
real
no,
quick.
that's I see. What I think is different about
Is that it's
Suicide
like
Squad is
artistic.
It's like it's kind of worked into the
I
environment.
understand
there.
that. Yeah.
I wondered
Yeah.
if you guys like that or no.
I
Yeah.
did not.
See, I did like it, and in contrast to the Green Knight also had just letters on the screen. But that was more. It felt more like a callback to older films from like the 1910s, 1915s with the cue cards and title cards
Right.
for that reason. But I found it was interesting, and I don't want it to be a trope. I don't want it to be something that everybody does because it kind of loses its
Zest.
novelty. Yeah, exactly.
Well, James Gunn,
But-
every time he puts something out, it seems like someone else is trying to copy it. So
Yeah.
I would get rated to
Sometimes
see
it
that every
seems-
movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes it seems to be James Gunn.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, copying James Gunn. Yeah.
Do you guys have any thoughts on the middle of this movie? I have no thoughts.
I
on the
don't
middle
even
of this
really like
movie.
remember it because I mean, not that I'm sure if I really thought on it, I could, but it's not something that like stands out when I think about
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah, the middle of the movie is definitely where I fell asleep.
I'm so I'm so confused by the Margot Robbie or the Harley Quinn that love plot where the president or whatever is like trying to marry her.
President Luna, you're a dictator. Did you hear that? She was all excited when we were watching the movie.
Luna is Jaden's dog.
Yeah.
I thought it was odd because it seemed to me it was just this like contrived way to get her thrown in prison. That way they could have a prison break scene. But like she was already captured. So it's like just get rid of the whole love plot because it doesn't make any sense.
No, it's stupid.
It was just it seems like just this like I don't want to, maybe not vanity because I don't know if Margot Robbie wanted that scene in, but it just seemed like that whole plot point was put in just to have more Harley Quinn on screen. And it's like just put her in prison right away and then just have them do the whole where they try to bust her out but she's already broken out and it plays the same way.
It does.
You don't need to have the whole that whole romantic part of it in.
One
I think
cool
it's
thing
not entertaining
about that
at
scene,
all.
Yeah, I think the romance part is dumb and useless, but she did actually pick up that key with her foot and unlock that lock. She did that in real life.
Crazy.
Wow,
Yeah.
what an actress.
Olympic ice skater, lock picker.
Dude, have
Yeah.
you seen that movie? Have you
Oh,
seen
yeah.
I have
dude,
not. No,
They do like this really bad like
I don't think I want to see it.
sort of face swap rotoscoping where they put her face over an actual like figure skater and it's so awkward because like the skater will there's like subtle movements while you're on skates,
Yeah.
you're not totally stationary and it's like Margot Robbie's face is like trying to keep up with them. It's kind of odd, like if you really look at it it's a little odd.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I think the middle of this movie is
forgettable.
exhausting to get through.
Yeah.
It's
and there's no payoff with the end.
yeah, I think you're kind of right.
I think the movie sucks too. Yeah,
Yeah, because the thing I really have about the problem I have with the end is we have to have Taika Waititi like give a meaning to all of this. Like rats are the thing that nobody cares about. But
I forgot all about Rat Lady till we just mentioned her again.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
She's just a millennial who sleeps.
yeah. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole other like shark dude.
Oh, King. I mean, his name is King Shark, but something else too. They call him
Yeah,
that.
I kind of forgot about those two for a moment too, because it was really just about Idris Elba and John Cena killing a bunch of guerrilla fighters. Like that was basically what you could sum up this whole movie.
Yeah.
As. Like that's the
That was like 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It probably wasn't 10 minutes, but it felt like a long time. It felt like they really put all of their thought into.
That's just the part that you remember the movie.
Yeah, how to kill these people in the most gruesome and hilarious
that scene
way
is
possible.
cool.
Yeah.
I also like it when they go into the bar and John Cena's wearing like a way too small of a polo. This guy's a doofus. It's hilarious.
I like to think that James Gunn did that like on purpose.
Yeah.
Like this guy's such a goober. Like,
Yeah.
such a dummy. Like of course he would wear too small.
He say I suck a whole beach full of dicks for peace or something.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, he's like I love peace. I don't care how many men, women, and children I have to kill to achieve it.
Yeah.
It's so like he's
a funny
good.
character. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect John Cena kind of role.
And those are well crafted lines that don't exist in the last 2/3
Nope.
of the film.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden John Cena betrays everybody. I'm like, okay, well that's fine, but his character's like boring now.
Yeah.
And like you can see this like empathy in him, kind of. But he's just like, I just gotta do it, and then I don't know. It's just not. It's very snooze fest at that point.
I did like the polka dot man. He just keeps seeing his mom everywhere.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty, I love the shot of the whole squad, but they're all like fat moms.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's really funny.
Yeah, and then
That's a good little bit. I think he's a good character in it. What do you guys think of the Rick Flag? Is it Rick Flag or Rick? Yeah, Rick Flag. And,
they shouldn't have put him in the movie.
No, I mean, what do you think of him and Peacemaker fighting and Peacemaker kills Rick Flag? Do you guys care or feel
Nope.
anything during that?
I was like, oh, cool, he's finally dead.
Can't remember if I saw that or not.
I think it's odd because Rick Flag is like the leader of the first movie, but he's like the only like regular human kind of soldier guy, and so I think you're supposed to connect with him in the first movie, be like, yeah, he's a regular guy like me. And I think this movie ignores the first one for the most part, except for Rick Flag. I think they want you to sympathize and remember him from the first movie. That way you feel something when he dies in this one. But the problem is like you've spent this whole movie being like, please forget that the first one even exists.
I disagree with that.
Oh, really?
That aspect. Yeah, I think this whole movie is a lot like the first movie, just with a little bit of James Gunn in it.
Yeah, I feel like too. It also doesn't mean anything because like,
Okay,
like, remember all of those people from the first movie? Well, let's just kill them all because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
None of those people were in the first movie.
Well, you said
No,
that.
Captain Boomerang gets
Yeah.
killed by the
Okay,
helicopter.
That's the one guy.
Who else is there?
Nobody.
Okay, maybe it's just the one.
Okay,
forgot about
there you
Captain
go.
Boomerang.
But I think
Yeah.
that's the thing is like they set up as literally all of the characters as expendable for the sake of like their deaths being humorous.
Right, yeah.
So to
Well,
try and wring emotion out of any of them is you don't understand what you've made then if that's what you were going
Yeah,
for.
which is the same thing they did in the first movie with Will Smith. Like, and this one, I'm not sure if it's a sequel or not because there's like a lot of like Captain Boomerang and Harley Quinn have a relationship, and he's like, "Oh, why are you back in prison?"
Yeah, there's
And it's like, "Oh, the famous Suicide Squad. They're making bets. Viola Davis is still, I don't know, the dickhead in charge."
But that's the thing is like, so Viola Davis, when they're in like their little meeting room, like the little kind of control center for it, it's completely different than the way it is in the first movie. Like they're like taking it seriously. They're like, oh, like you guys have to go to this building, and they're trying to give them intel, and you know, it seems like that control room is trying to take it seriously. And that one, yeah, it's like you said, they're like making bets. They're like kind of poking and joking. Like it's not a big deal. That's why I think tonally this is an entirely different movie. I don't think this is the first movie with James Gunn just like spicing it up. I think it's totally different than the first one.
I think it's so similar, and I think it's just because you change certain aspects of the movie doesn't make it a different movie.
No, I mean that's.
I mean, it's just like
point.
so like you have the control room, it's still like the same scenes, they're still doing the same shit. It's just like now it's a different environment. It's supposed to have humor in it. I think that's the only
it just
difference
seems odd
of the
to me
whole
that it would
film.
change so much. Like if you still have the same director, why would that whole atmosphere of that like control room change so much if it wasn't supposed to be tonally different for the movie? That's what I mean.
That's the same. It's like it's intentionally different, but the movie is still the same thing. It's like
Amanda
they're
Waller.
like,
that's what I meant. That's Viola Davis's character.
yeah, she like
Everyone's so forgettable in this.
Yeah, and I'm sure that most people don't watch this movie and think of the characters other than some of the superheroes. Like no one knows, David Desmalchian. They know Polka Dot Man or the dude from Dark Knight.
that one scene.
Yeah, in that one scene. Like that was like where I always recognize him from. Like
Yeah.
he's in like just in a lot of weird roles like that.
He's in a really good movie we're going to talk about in one of our future episodes in Prisoners. He plays a really like kind of creepy kind of
Weird guy.
yeah, in a
like
way,
snakes.
yeah, that's like a crime sort of drama thriller, and he plays an interesting character in that.
Yeah, polka dot man without powers.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, just really creepy guy. He's good at doing that. I think that's kind of what he tends to. That's kind of the role that is kind of set up for him. I think probably directors like write these or writers write these screenplays and scripts and stuff, and they're like they have a person in mind for him, and I think he kind of fits that role really well.
Or they have like an idea of a typecast, and then they just go through a list of people that fit that typecast. And
exactly.
He always shows up that way.
All right, I just want to know what do we think of the end when they fight Starro?
He had a name.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know.
I think it was something Starro, but Starro was definitely in it.
I don't know if. Oh yeah, because it says Suicide Squad versus Starro.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
like
like
one
pops
of the
up.
title
Yeah,
things.
because like the frame freezes and then it pops up that this big white kind of like graffiti lettering to tell you what's going on.
Yeah, weird.
What do you guys think of that? I just think it's cool because it's such a weird comic book villain, and it's sort of. I think in a way it's not even really a villain. He's just sort of this space creature that got captured and then was kind of tortured. And I mean, he's not a villain in a conventional sense is what I mean. It's not like a guy just trying to do bad things. It seems like there's motivation set up as much as you can for a starfish. I just remember looking over at Calvin and I was like, please don't let this thing get eaten by rats. That would like really annoy me. And then of course that's how it ends. I was so frustrated with the end of this movie.
Yeah, and like to be like the moral of like the story being like, oh yeah, the rats, the thing that society doesn't care about, like trying to equate that to the Suicide Squad. Well, you know, we're really good people, or we do good things still, just like rats. Like
they even say like Weasel, they're like, oh well, like he's harmless except that he killed 21 children. It's like these people suck. Like stop. Yeah. I think there's a way you can like care about these characters, or at least be interested in these characters and what's going on, but I don't want to sympathize with these people. Like,
yeah, they're the
terrible.
Worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Like they're serial killers, they're abusers and sadists. Like none of that stuff is stuff we need to humanize. It's
exactly,
we just need to make it interesting.
So I don't like that idea of, like you said, it's like, oh yeah, the lowest life is like, you know, life form is what's going to save us, and like they equate that to like the Suicide Squad, and I think that's really a bad choice for this movie. They should stay bad, and you should acknowledge they're bad, but still be entertained by them getting killed and killing other people, because it's just kind of fun to see sometimes.
Yeah, that's why it's funny that they're getting killed, is because they're terrible people who have met their fate that they had to lie in the bed they made.
Right.
And that's exactly what happens. And it's so great to watch that then, because you don't care about them. You actively hate some of them because they're terrible. So to see them die, like seeing Pete Davidson, like, as a character, as
face blown off.
I love that.
Like, it exists. It's so much better, like, thinking of him not as a character, even.
I love that. He just walks up on the beach. He's like, "No, this is the plan we told about. You guys are gonna. You're on my side, right?" And they just blow him up. It's so funny.
Yeah, like that's
at the beginning of the movie. It's the only stuff I like.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think of the end, Jaden?
I think it's just more blatant ripoffs of other superhero movies. Like the whole scene where Idris Elba is telling, or Bloodsport, or Bloodshot, or whatever his name is. Don't care.
It's crazy because he's like Will Smith light in this.
Yep, that's exactly what he is.
The same character.
He has a daughter, the whole shebang.
Yeah,
but it's just like a slightly different name, and he kind of does a slightly different thing.
They could have just recast him as Deadshot.
Yeah, but it's a sequel. It's not. I'm telling you.
Is it Bloodsport or Bloodshot?
It's Bloodsport. I think it's Bloodshot is Will Smith, and then Bloodsport is Idris Elba.
Deadshot is Will Smith.
Okay, yeah, it's Bloodsport then.
That's what I'm saying. They're the same guy, so it's hard to know.
So he's all telling everybody what to do, and they're like, the starfish and like the little stars are all attacking the city, and he's all like, King Shark, nom nom. He's all, monster, nom nom. I'm like, okay, so like that's the Hulk. That's Captain America saying Hulk smash. Like that's the same line.
Yeah, no,
There's
you're right.
no difference.
You're 100% right.
Same thing. Like they had, instead of having like a big worm thing, it's one big starfish. Instead of having Chitauri, it's a bunch of little starfish taking over people's minds. And then that's why I feel like this is like a classic lame superhero villain. Is because like it's kind of cool when it's just a monster, but then after the starfish get on people's faces and he starts communicating with them, he's like, oh, I'm here to take over the whole planet. Like, it's all supposed to be me and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, now that's Ego from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That's the same antagonist device.
You're right. It's probably a pretty tired ending that we're all used to
Yeah.
seeing. That's why I think that's why I think the ending is boring.
Yep.
Yeah. But
It's awful.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I think of like all superhero movies. It's not like Suicide Squad is special in that it's ripping off other Marvel movies. Other Marvel movies, I mean, I don't know if we were talking about this, but apparently when they make a new Marvel movie, they all sit down and watch the 1978 Superman every single time and base all of their plots off of that movie.
That's awesome.
So there you go. Like it's
that's
like
actually awful to me. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like so.
That's
how,
why.
how are you going to make anything that's like innovative if you literally base it off of the same thing every time?
Yep, and that's why I think they're all terrible. Is you can see that in all of them. They're all the same plot.
I didn't know
and
that.
It's all from 1978.
That's kind of wild to me that Marvel Studios is taking their inspiration from a DC property. It's kind of odd to me.
Yeah, and DC can't even do it.
Yeah, yeah, you're so right. You're so right. All right, do we want to give ratings on this?
Yeah, sure.
How many stars do you give this, Jaden?
1.1.
Okay, that's a high marks for kind of what I think this is not a very good movie. So
No, it's very bad.
Gunn, what do you got?
I'm gonna go 4.5 stars just because the laughs were so intense. Because I guess my expectations were so low
That's fair,
that I was not expecting to be entertained at all.
right? Yeah. I did have because I while the first movie got chopped up and kind of it became something that it was not supposed to be, and the directors come out and been like, "This is not at all what he intended." I was looking forward to seeing kind of a version of this story that the director had more control over. It seemed because again, I think like James Gunn is one of those guys he's been successful at what he's done, so he just kind of gets to kind of make his own movie, and you can see his fingerprints.
Yeah,
are
Warner
all over
Brothers
this.
told him, like, do whatever you want with
Yeah,
this.
you can see his fingerprints are all over this,
Yeah.
and so I like that this movie seemed cohesive and it seemed to have a vision. I just think it's like it starts out so well, and then they don't carry that like that joy and that fun and that humor throughout the whole movie, and so like it just like it falls off a cliff, like I said. So yeah, I think I put this at like 3. Yeah, all right.
I think those are both too high. That's good.
All right. With that, thanks for listening to Now This Is Podcasting. I'm your host, Connor, and I have my co-host, Jaden, and former guest, Calvin.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, thanks for listening.